Hey guys, in today's 2024 election prediction is between Ilhan Omar and Ron Desantis. Now, Ilhan Omar is a U.S. representative from the state of Minnesota, representing is it St. Paul or Minneapolis? I believe it's St. Paul. She is Muslim, of course, as you may have heard, and extremely unpopular among Republicans mostly. Many Democrats like her, but she is seen as definitely a radical, someone similar to AOC who wants extreme radical change and a political revolution. All of that, very progressive, obviously. And again, she's from Minnesota. And she's facing off against Ron DeSantis in this prediction. I recently did a Omar versus Trump prediction and did very well. You guys liked it. So I'm switching it up. I'm changing it to Ron DeSantis. So Ron DeSantis is the governor of Florida, extremely popular, especially among the Republican Party. Many Republicans want him for president in 2024. So let's get into the safe states for Ilhan Omar. That will be Washington, Oregon, California, D.C., Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Vermont, New York, Illinois, and Hawaii. Ron DeSantis safe states would be Montana, Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, Oklahoma, Kansas. Nebraska's 1st district and Nebraska's 3rd district would be safe for Ron DeSantis, along with Nebraska at large. South Dakota, North Dakota would be. And then the South, Ron DeSantis will be very popular in the South, so he's really going to capture the South, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, West Virginia. He's going to win those safe states. I will do safe, likely, lean, and tilt. Safe being 15% and up. The margin between the two candidates likely being 5 to 15%. Lean being 1 to 5%, and tilt being less than 5%, less than 1%. And then going to Maine's 2nd district and Maine's 1st district. I think Ron DeSantis would do pretty well in Maine's 2nd district, leading him to a safe win here, and therefore making Maine at large likely for Omar. But I don't see him having any shot in Maine's 1st district. Coming out of let's go to Alaska. This is not an area where Omar will do very well. Biden won it by 10 points. I really do think that Ron DeSantis would be 5 points more popular than Trump was in 2020 in a state like Arkansas if Omar's the Democratic nominee. Because in a state like Alaska, she would do awful. So I do think Ron DeSantis would win Alaska by a safe margin, by a solid margin. And in Texas, Ron DeSantis, oh my gosh. 1 second here. Ron DeSantis will win Nebraska at large. But in Texas, I think he would win it by a likely margin. I think it will stay in that likely column here. There are more Democrats. It's growing more Democratic and progressive. But we do need to remember something called the Bible Belt. The Bible Belt goes from Texas to, you can say, North Carolina, South Carolina, even Georgia. But it's that southern region. It is the Bible Belt. And Ilhan Omar, being a Muslim, I hate to say, but that will cost her badly. It's just the truth, really. She will fare awfully in states, in these southern states. Ron DeSantis, being from the South, will do very well in the South, especially saying how unpopular the Biden administration is. Of course, that's going to affect Omar. How unpopular Biden and Harris are, many people won't vote for the Democrats because of the national environment for the Democrats. So Texas, I think Ron DeSantis would win more than 5% or 5.6% more than Omar. More than that, because that's what Trump won against Biden in 2020. I think he would increase, but I don't think it would be a solid margin. Moving down to the state of Florida, this is going to be a likely state for Ron DeSantis. I would project that this would go to him by 6-7 points, because of course he is the governor here and extremely popular, but this is the Bible Belt. Omar, being a Muslim, has no shot. Georgia, will go to Ron DeSantis. I would say by a lean margin. I think it would be around 3 to 4%, even though this was a Biden state by a tilt margin in 2020. I really don't see Omar having any shot here because this is the Bible Belt. Many progressive Democrats who are, very Christian, very Baptist, are going to turn away from Omar. South Carolina, for the same reasons, will go to Ron DeSantis by a likely margin. This went by a likely margin to Trump in 2020, so just to give an insight. And then North Carolina, I really could see this being a likely state for Ron DeSantis. I don't see it being much more than 5%, but I do think Ron DeSantis would capture the South and capture the Bible Belt, most importantly, because Omar is going to be so unpopular down here. I really do think North Carolina would be a likely state. And then moving on to Virginia. I do think that this would go to the Democrats. I really do. It really depends on how much by. I would say a lean margin. I don't see it being yet. Remember, Youngkin won the governorship by distancing himself away from Trump, right? So he really wants people from both sides, Trump supporters and some moderate Democrats, right? So, Ron DeSantis being so closely tied with Trump, I really don't see it, but because of the bad national environment for Democrats, because of the unpopular administration, I would say Virginia would go to Omar by a lean margin. Moving on to New Hampshire, this is very tough. But as of right now, Ron DeSantis is going to win this by a tilt margin. I know it's crazy. This is a major shift. This is a 10-point shift here. All right. Right now, just two things: Omar's religion, Muslim, and the unpopular Biden. Right. Those two things combined are going to hurt him badly in a state like New Hampshire. Omar. This is a pretty Christian state, right, along with much of the Northeast. It's not very diverse at all. Omar won't have that diverse coalition, right? So, in a state like New Hampshire, she will in other states, but not in New Hampshire. So, I really do see it going to Ron DeSantis, especially saying how unpopular Biden is there. In Iowa, I could see this becoming a safe state for DeSantis because how unpopular Biden is, and because of Omar's religion again, many people will turn away from her. Ohio, not so much. I think it would stay in the likely column. I think it would be pretty close, but I think it would, along with Indiana, just because it is becoming more of a Republican state. More of a Democratic state. In New Mexico, in Colorado, I think Colorado would go to her by a likely margin because it is a very progressive state with a diverse population. But New Mexico, I'm going to switch to the lean column just because it is more conservative and more Democrats are going to stay home just to not vote for Omar. But in Arizona, this is going to be a DeSantis state. He will connect with the Sun Belt. I think he would win it by a lean margin, probably 2 to 3%, I would say. I think DeSantis really will capture these voters here. Another state where Omar won't win as many Democrats. Oops, sorry about that. And Nevada, this going some victory. I think by tilt margin, Nevada is going to go to Ron DeSantis just because of how unpopular the administration is, as I said, with many of these other states. And in Nebraska's 2nd district, this is going to be a DeSantis territory. I would say by a likely margin. I think it would go to him by more than 5%. I really do see him connecting with these voters much more than Omar. And then comes Omar's home state of Minnesota. So Minnesota will go to her, just because she's going to get massive turnout in St. Paul. But I do see it going to her by a lean margin just because of Biden's unpopularity. I think that will affect her to some extent, even though this is her home state. But in states like Wisconsin with a low minority population, this is going to go to Ron DeSantis by a lean margin. Michigan, many African Americans are turning away from the Biden-Harris administration because they feel they haven't served them, They really gave Biden the nomination right after South Carolina, and many feel that he hasn't been paying them back. But I do think that some African Americans, those extremely progressive African Americans will stand behind Omar, saying that just because of the fact that they don't judge her because of her religion. They won't vote against her because she is a Muslim, because it is in the North. They live in the North, unlike African Americans, and I'm not saying all of them, but just a lot of them in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, right? And in Pennsylvania, just because of the harsh environment for the Democrats right now, this is going to be a lean state for Ron DeSantis, and that wins him the presidency. Indiana technically did, but anyway, Ron DeSantis wins big time with 317 electoral votes to Omar's 221. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, watch all my other predictions, leave a comment, definitely leave a comment for future video ideas, and I hope to see you all next time.